Come here, Rusty. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. Good boy. Hello and welcome back to another update. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been Christmas and New Year in the meantime, so Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I had several days of not being able to do anything in the workshop because I accidentally drilled my finger modifying a tap in the garden, a brass tap. I had hold of it in my hand and I was drilling, and it was a stupid move, and I feel like an idiot, and I've learned my lesson again. And my finger's healing. It's kind of mangled to some degree, but it's filled in. It's nearly 2 weeks now. It's filled in. I'm still missing a bit of nail, but it's not gruesome anymore. So had the dressing off for a few days. So anyway, I did get some useful stuff done in the last couple of days. I'll take you over to the belt grinder. So long story short is the belt grinder is now fixed. And I didn't get any video of that, but I did take a few pictures to share. I first of all had to make a new plate because the old plate was slightly warped from welding it twice. I don't know if you saw the original video, but this was warped, so I cut the old off, made a new plate, which just meant squaring it up and drilling and tapping these 4 holes. I had to modify the shoulder on the back, so I'll show you a photo of that. That had to be shortened by about 30 millimeters because the motor's shorter and it has to still line up with the belt in the same place. And that all fits. That will fit the bolt hole pattern, so time to use my favourite glue gun and glue it on. And then it was a case of painting some primer, and I'm showing some lock nuts here because I changed a couple of these. These were double nuts on these pivots, and I've changed those to lock nuts just because it's more convenient. And top coat, luckily I had half a can of this stuff left from the last time I painted it, and that's the motor attached. I did have to modify the key as well. I don't have a 6mm broach. This motor expects a 6mm key, but the pulley that I made last year had a 3/16 key, which I'm using metric. That turns out to 4.76. So I've got that key shaped, and that was on size, shaped like a little top hat, and all together. And here's a clip of it working. So that was the end of the work done section. Belt grinder was really it, plus the finger injury. Next thing on the list is normally new arrivals, but there are no new arrivals this week, so I'll give you a new departure. These 3 engines, and in fact there was a 4th one as well, came from my friend Jeff they came via Jeff, but they were from his friend Dennis, and they were gifted to me probably 2 or 3 years ago now, and I just haven't done anything with them, and the layer of dust on them is thicker than ever. And I know a couple of people that are really into steam engines and locomotives and boat engines and things like that. So I've given one to my friend Bill down in the southern part of the state, and these 3 are going to my other friend Stu up in the north part of the state, because they will know how to get them up and running and how to look after them and get them back to their former glory, because obviously they've been shoved in a box and left in a shed for 100 years. So it would be nice to see these running and working, and I just literally don't have time and don't really have the skills for these kinds of things. I might build an engine one day, but it's not on the short list. It's not on the short list for this year anyway. So yeah, these are a departure. These will be going, and I'm pretty certain they're going to a good home. So it'll be great to see them going off and finding a new home. So thanks Jeff and thanks Dennis for these in the first place. I think you'll be pleased as well with where they're going. And then there's the upcoming potential maybe work list. And there are now 2 paying jobs on the queue. One is the desk for Jeff. I'll show you the parts for that. That has not been made, but it's this pile of parts on the desk. That's coming soon. And the other is the quote for the riser that I gave into the university. They've accepted the quote and they want me to get on with it. So I've got 2 paying jobs in the queue. There's a whole heap of jobs carried forward from last time. There's the quick change tool post for the lathe. There's the doors, workbench mods. I want to paint it and put some leveling feet on and stuff. There's still the shaper. Haven't touched it since I got it. And the MCO base. Haven't touched that since I got it. And there was, I looked at the short list and realised there was a bunch of things I didn't mention. There's Bill's Forge. I need to get that up and running and tested. There's the tool and cutter grinder that needs a full restoration and scraping and all that. There's the CNC behind the camera that all I've done is take the enclosure off it. It needs the controller rebuilding basically. I think it's mostly rebuilt, but it needs some of the brains replaced with some of the higher tech stuff that came with it. I'll explain more about that when I get to it. And of course the MCO doesn't just need a base. I've got a 3-phase motor there and a VFD and it's all wired up. It just needs to go on the lathe and it needs mounting. So it's similar to the story with the big lathe that I did a few months back. The MCO needs the same treatment. So there's a big list of jobs there, enough to last me for the rest of the year, probably next year too. But for now, I'm focusing on Jeff's desk and the pan brake riser. And the pan brake riser design is basically a copy of my lathe riser that I made. I'm fairly tall, 6'2" or 187 centimeters, and most machine tools tend to be at least 100mm too short. So, and in the case of this pan brake at the uni, it's about 200mm too short. So I'm going to copy this lathe base, and I've come up with a CAD model for it, and I've worked out what materials I need, and this is all just going to be cut and welded and painted and delivered, and that should be, it needs to be done in the next 2 weeks. So I better get off this update video and get on with something. Okay, I'm keeping it short. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.